Hi, welcome to Focus, where I try to be productive. And today we're watching a video by Ben Heath. He's a Google Ads expert. How I grew a business from $0 to 421K with Google Ads. Let's get to it.
I grew a business from nothing to generating $421,000 in their first 12 months with a Google Ad campaign.
Is that even allowed? I don't know.
And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, including the Google Ad strategy that I used. This video is sponsored by HubSpot. More about them later. Okay, so I'm excited to run through this Google Ads case study. And before we get into the details, I want to give you a little bit of context around this business, and then I'll show you what we did and the results that came from that, okay? So it was an interior design company, and they just started properly. It was a business sort of ticked along in the background, but now was looking to properly go. They had virtually no revenue, no reliable revenue, at least, and they were loss making because they had costs. Small interior design company, just a handful of people, but still, if you're not bringing in much in the way of revenue and you've got some costs, you're going to be loss making. They had no reliable customer acquisition channel, and most small businesses, service-based, local, when they start, they don't have a reliable customer acquisition channel. They sort of get a referral here, work with someone they know there, and just sort of bumble along. And there's millions of small businesses in that exact situation. Anyway, so I was brought in to generate new clients from Google Ads. Now, I should say that we don't work with companies now that are just starting from zero. I did this a number of years ago, but I wanted to share this story because I feel like there's probably quite a lot of people who consume my content who are in this situation, who are sort of getting started or getting started properly. They want reliable customer client acquisition. They don't get it. They get a few referrals, things like that. So this should hopefully be really valuable.
I also just want to point out real quick that this is not his business. He has probably like a marketing company or a marketing consulting company, and he was hired by this interior design business to grow their sales using Google Ads.
If you're in that situation. Okay, so marketing challenges for this business specifically. So the target market is high net worth individuals. Interior design companies do not want to work with people that don't have a significant budget to play with for obvious reasons. So finding those people, targeting them can be tricky.
Yep.
There's also challenges around timing. This business really wanted to work with people that were either moving or renovating, because what they didn't want is to just get a client that just wants to, paint a few walls and buy a new sofa. Because there's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but actually in terms of how much you're billing as the interior design company and then how much profit you make from that, really, really small. So they only really wanted to work with people that are undertaking larger projects, which people often do when they move. They'll move and they'll do a whole load to the home, or if they're doing like quite a big renovation. So that's a challenge as well. Like we want to make sure we reach people during that time in their lives. Location constrained. So it's a business that very much needs to be, the interior design needs to go to the property, have local suppliers and contractors and things like that. So constrained to a small geographical area. This business was based in Berkshire in the south of England. This company had limited proof, which was definitely challenging from a marketing standpoint because, like I said, only just sort of getting going. So not lots of testimonials, didn't have great portfolio images and things like that to demonstrate, which is great for interior design business. Portfolio images really help sell.
Definitely for a company that does interior design, I'd imagine one of the most important things they can have is a good portfolio with works they've done in the past, just to show the client their style, their abilities, and their connections with contractors, the type of quality that they have to offer.
Didn't have a ton of that sort of stuff. So given that scenario, business like this needs a different Google Ads strategy to others. There are lots of different Google Ads strategies, and we use different ones depending on the different types of business, what's going to work best for that type of business. One of the things that Google advertisers have struggled with in recent years is the increased difficulty.
One of the things, they have multiple angles just out of nowhere, just
difficulty in gathering and tracking visitor data due to stringent data privacy regulations. To help you with that,
that's an
HubSpot has
ad.
teamed up with...
I'm watching an ad. Let me skip forward.
So focus on a search campaign.
There we go.
Because buyer's intent here is really, really important. We needed to know that the people who were inquiring, who were becoming leads, were interested in firstly hiring an interior designer, secondly undertaking a large project. Like I said, otherwise it's just not worth this business's time. It would be loss making to work with people that didn't have that. So if we were to use other networks, other types of Google ad campaigns, which more interruption, distraction advertising, yes, can we generate leads, but what's the quality going to be? Is the buyer's intent there? Not as much. That's not as important with other types of businesses. I should stress that. But with a business like this, where you're after a small number of really high quality clients, very, very important.
So basically what he's saying is that in this kind of business specifically, he doesn't only need a whole bunch of leads, he needs really quality leads that match the business's needs. That means that they have a lot of money to spend, that they're currently moving or renovating and not just want to change up some little stuff at their apartment. And they need people that are willing to pay that price right now, as to not to spend the business's times.
Limited search volume, just advertising in a local geographical area, and there's just not tons of people searching for, working with interior designers and things like that in general. A lot of people try and do this themselves. So that's a challenge. So what we did is we targeted the most direct and the most expensive keywords. Now, a lot of Google advertisers will try and do the opposite. They won't want to spend a load of money on what they perceived as the most expensive keywords, but often the most expensive keywords are the most profitable keywords. Those are the keywords that convert the best. They're the keywords that are most likely to lead to a higher paying quality customer.
So far, I only watched content about Facebook advertising. So with Google advertising, I presume that means search keywords. And what he is saying here basically is that most people would intuitively choose to use more general terms. And here he's going the other way around. He's choosing the direct keywords and the most expensive ones, because these are the ones that will bring him the quality clients that he's looking for. These are the ones that will turn out to be more profitable, even if they cost a bit more. And as he says, it is worth it.
And that's why they're most expensive, because Google Ads prices are set by an auction and advertisers compete, and advertisers are willing to pay more for certain clients over others. Okay. So we were like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna go for them. And we were basically happy to pay whatever per click. We weren't focused on reducing the cost per lead, reducing the cost per click. We used broad map keywords. We had to, because of the limited search volume. Cost per lead was far less important than quality. We were willing to pay significantly more in terms of cost per lead as long as the quality was improved. Again, that's not something you're going to want to do with all businesses. Some businesses, reducing that cost is really important. That's going to improve the profitability of your overall marketing. In this scenario, it's absolutely not, because you could have a client that spends $200,000 or one that wants to spend, $1,000. And obviously the difference there is enormous. So lead quality was everything. Average customer lifetime value, we estimated at £75,000. I think that actually turned out to be a little bit low once, we had some data and more clients were generated, things like that. But that's what we started with as our estimates. You need to have either the actual number based on data or an estimate of what your average customer lifetime value is going into your marketing, because that feeds into how much you can afford to pay per customer, how much you can afford to pay per lead, and all that sort of stuff. So there were two core components of lead quality for this business, and these things will actually vary depending on your business and what's important.
Right.
But firstly, does the prospect have the funds? Do they have the money to undertake something fairly substantial? And secondly, is the prospect moving house or renovating? In other words, are they spending enough? They're not just looking to, replace a sofa or get a new pair of curtains or something along those lines. Okay, so Google Ads strategy. We used a call out method in the ad copy. I think this was really important. We tested ads with this versus ones without, and the ones where we used this, the lead quality was significantly better. So we literally, by using the call out method, what I'm talking about here for this business is we put in the ad copy, in the headlines of the ads, moving house, renovating. We wanted these ads to speak to people that were already undertaking those things, because we know those were our ideal customers.
That's really smart. They want their clients or customers to be actively moving houses or renovating. By literally posing it as a question in the ad copy, they can pretty much almost guarantee it. And also, it really attracts the eyes. If you are moving houses and you just see moving house ? You go, oh yeah, I am. What are they talking about? This addresses me. Interesting, smart.
Qualifying ad copy is also something we used, often in the descriptions. So we would put in interior design project starting at £50,000. We did not want people clicking on the ads, coming through, booking a call, who just wanted, like I said, to spend a small amount of money and do a small little project and just tweak something that they might want an interior designer for. We wanted people that were serious. And this is the sort of thing, you put in qualifying ad copy like that prevents a lot of people from clicking. So your cost per click goes way up, your click-through rate goes way down. These seem like bad metrics from a Google Ads standpoint, but they're not if the people that do click through are therefore better quality. Because only the people that are like, yeah, I'm going to be spending at least 100 grand, I'm going to be spending at least 50 grand, I'm going to be spending a good amount, they're the only ones that aren't going to be bothered by that. In fact, they might actually like it because they think, oh yeah, this is an interior design company, they're geared up for larger projects. They don't want to inquire with someone who's just used to, replacing curtains or something.
That is really true. I mean, when I first saw the ad copy that the minimum project they're gonna undertake is £50,000, I thought that's gonna deter a lot of people away from clicking it. But the people that do click it are the high quality clients that are willing to spend that amount and are worth the business's time. Let's keep watching.
Some interior design companies do, because that would be a waste of that person's time. They want a serious interior designer that has the contacts with all the local contractors and things like that to be able to make the project a reality. So that helps get more clicks from the small people that meet that qualifying criteria. It reduces clicks from other people, so your front end metrics look worse, your cost per click goes up, your CTR goes down, but the leads that come through are better quality. And this is a really important thing for businesses where lead quality is the most important thing, like it is here. So the offer was a free interior design consultation. Fairly standard offer in the space, nothing too special about that. There's also nothing really else that we could think of that makes sense as a better offer than this. It's like, if you're looking to hire a interior designer, what would you expect? You expect them to come around your house, have a look at the property, let you know what they think they would do with it, how much they charge, all that sort of stuff. So that's what was offered. It's also a reason why lead quality is important, because and we had this experience early on where you can get a whole load of leads that are lower quality. An interior designer is going out to do all these consultations, and then the consultations, they last like 3 hours because people show them all around the property and talk about every element, and they've had thoughts, and then there's lots of follow-up. So it's quite time consuming to communicate with the lead and potentially convert. I also should quickly mention,
in interior design, not out of experience, but I do believe that the consultation meetings are an investment with the client. And so if the client is not serious to begin with, you're wasting a lot of time and a lot of resources, even just giving them the free consultation.
Here that free is better than discount in anything luxury or premium. If you offer a discount, it can reduce the perceived value of what you offer. Whereas if you offer something for free, it doesn't do that at all. If you think about the luxury things you've bought, you very often get free things with them. So you buy like a really expensive piece of jewelry. The company will often send you a free gift alongside it. You go to a really fancy restaurant, there might be free valet parking. You purchase a business class ticket on an airplane and you get free food, free drink, free use of the lounge, free cutting the queues and fast passes through security and things like that, right? So
not exactly. I mean, you're basically paying for it, but I get his point. If you're putting a discount on something, it seems like you are reducing its value. If you give something additional for free, it's basically like a gift, and it doesn't reduce from the value of what you're giving away.
Just something I wanted to quickly mention. Okay, so before we started running a Google ad campaign for this business, we had to create a specific landing page, which you will often have to do. The website was fine, but not geared up in order to get lots of conversions from Google Ads. I've actually created a separate video on how to optimize landing pages and website for Google Ads specifically. I'll include a link in the video description so you can go ahead and check that out. Might find it really useful. Wanted to quickly mention that because that's an important part of the strategy here. Okay, so what were the results? Those are the most important things that we did. What were the results? So the cost per lead was about £75 each, which for a lot of businesses sounds like a lot. For this businesses, worked really well. Because remember, that's about 1% of the estimated customer lifetime value. 75 grand lifetime value, £75 cost per lead, happy days. So lead volume, 12 to 18 leads per month.
I like that they fixed with the annotation. He said it was 1%, it's actually 0.1%.
Wasn't much more available within the geographical area given the qualifying ad copy. in order to expand that purely through a Google Ad search campaign, we'd have had to increase the geographical area. Maybe the company need to open new branches in different locations, which a lot of sort of local service-based businesses will do in order to grow and scale. That's about what was available maxing out. Like, we were willing to spend more than there were clicks available, if that makes sense. Conversion rate, 1 in 12. A lot of people would say that's low for a service business, and I get that. But again, this is an interior design company looking to work with high net worth individuals, really trying to be very selective. Projects would last sometimes 2 years, let's say 6 months to 2 years. So once you start working with a client, you want to be absolutely sure that they're a really good client. And also a business like this, particularly when they started, they could only handle maybe half a dozen projects at any one time. Okay, so the cost to acquire a client, £75 cost per lead, 12 leads to get a new customer, about £900 in terms of cost to acquire a client. I think this is where a lot of service business...
That's not that much. I mean, I know 900 British pounds is a lot of money, but when it comes to those kind of interior design projects, and like they stated in the ad copy, of a minimum £50,000, they said the average is like £75,000. Paying £900 per client with a £75 per lead, that's not bad at all.
And a lot of local service businesses really go wrong is they would see something like that and go, that is insane. There's no way I'm spending £900 to get a client. And I think that's really silly, particularly when the clients are worth what they are in this scenario. So let's have a look at the return on ad spend. £75,000 is what the customer's worth, £900 to acquire. That's an 83x return on ad spend. Now, obviously, the lifetime customer values for this business are really high. So it's much easier to get really high return on ad spend numbers. And I should mention that out of that £75,000 are going to be contractor fees, costs of the products and manufacturers. Like there's significant costs in there. So the return on ad spend when you're measuring money invested versus profit out would be significantly less than 83, but still very profitable. And your numbers may need to vary. Like I said here, we're going for high quality, willing to be very selective. That drives up cost per lead, but still worked for this business. What I would just encourage you to do is, I've spoken to a lot of business owners that are running Google Ad campaigns, and let's say their average customer value is $2,000. And you ask them, what are you willing to pay to acquire a customer? And they say, $100 bucks. You think, really? You wouldn't be willing to pay $200 or $250 or $300 in order to get, a customer worth $2,000? I think you should be. It'll allow you to get more customers, allow you to scale, allow you to improve your business. Okay, so high quality Google Ad campaigns for this business made it easy to profitably acquire customers. And you can see that these clients are very profitable. And in the 12 months after we got the Google Ad campaign launched, the result was £324,000 of revenue generated directly attributable to the Google Ad campaigns, which is roughly $421,000. Now, that revenue continued to climb, right? Because we were looking at generating from those, 12 to 18 leads per month, 1 to 2 new clients a month once we got it figured out and up and running. But because of the length of time, this was the first 12 months, right? So obviously there were some clients that were signed up 6 months into that first 12 months where the vast majority of their billing would be in the subsequent year. So the revenue did continue to climb. I just wanted to give you an idea of, that first 12 months, what is possible, even with a business like this where the lead times are long and then the sort of sales cycle is very long. Projects last 6 to 12 months, things like that, particularly if they required planning permission or something along those lines, could be even longer. So the real challenge with this business was to acquire clients like that at scale. So with this campaign, scaled up as much as we could get it without changing anything else in the business, we're looking at 1 to 2 new clients a month. So you're looking at this sort of strategy for this sort of business maxing out at roughly £1 million a year, something along those lines. Once, like I said, all the projects are up and running and things along those lines. To grow further, additional Google Ad campaign types were required, things like Performance Max, things that are now interruption advertising, and additional marketing channels as well. Now, we did work out how to do that, and we did grow the revenue further. The business actually did quite well, ended up being sold a number of years ago, and I actually owned a piece of the business, so it was quite interesting. Since then, the new owners of the business didn't manage it well at all, and I believe it's gone into administration. I know it was close to recently, but anyway, that's a story for another video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll tell that one day, because it's all quite interesting. But I want to keep this focused on, the Google Ad campaign that got this business from, 0 to over 400 grand in year 1, which is pretty cool. So I've got a question for you. Would you like us to explode your business with fantastic Google Ad results? So here's how we can help, how my business can help. So Heath Media, right. Name of my agency, a specialist Google and Meta advertising.
Shout out to Heath Media, his agency.
Agency. We have done for you services where we create, manage, and optimize Google Ad campaigns for clients. We take all that workload off their hands.
All right. We'll stop it right there. So to summarize, what have we learned from Ben Heath? Basically, in businesses where the clients are worth a lot of money, you shouldn't be afraid to invest a lot of money to get high quality leads. And it's better to get a few high quality leads than a bunch of leads that might take you nowhere. Especially in businesses that can't really handle too many clients. Like he said in interior design, they could only handle about 6 to 12 clients per year. What he said about keywords is important. When you advertise on Google, he said, buy the expensive keywords. They're expensive for a reason. They're expensive because they're more profitable. They're expensive because they're more effective. Just quoting him. And I do believe it. I mean, it is expensive for a reason. And if you make a lot of money per client, then you might as well use that money to acquire more clients and scale up your business. Overall, I liked him. I liked his approach. He was not as concise as someone like David Fogarty, but overall, he put out the message and he's very understandable. Yeah, that's pretty much it. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.